It all started with a casual conversation between friends, but quickly escalated into a dramatic twist I never anticipated. My friend's girlfriend, already feeling the strain of our complex friendship, suddenly accused me of carrying his baby, citing my recent pregnancy as evidence. The truth is, he had a crush on me, but I never imagined it would lead to such an explosive misunderstanding. As tensions rise, I'm left grappling with the weight of accusations and the unraveling of relationships that were once simple. I hardly talk to my friend or friend as it used to be. We last spoke when he texted me to congratulate me on the birth of my youngest child. Thank you was my response, and that was it. My spouse is aware of him and his romantic interest in me. We share a friend group, which is how they met, and we also got to know his girlfriend. That is not problematic at all. I don't make contact with him. He started all of our previous conversations, asking me how I was doing and saying hello every time. All right, how about you? That's all there is to it. Not every time do I respond. My former friend is aware of the small coffee shop owned by my husband's family. I go there for a portion of the afternoon while I wait for my daughter to get done with her activities. My 3-year-old son and I spend a few hours with my mill and a cell when they are off in there. I was therefore shocked to see my old friend and his girlfriend at the coffee shop last Friday. Since he returned to our city, they had rented a space there for a week in order to work on some photography and video projects. He creates visual art. They had some of his team with them. Though strange, it wasn't a major issue. At the shop, we all greeted one another when we crossed paths. He seemed a little surprised, to be honest, which was strange and unsettling, because he began acting nervous. They were unaware that I was pregnant. They had not previously met my son. It was their first time seeing him, and while he didn't really give it much thought, his girlfriend did. I have to admit that I was extremely uncomfortable throughout, particularly when she began giving my son such intense stares that it gave me the chills. Michelle, who had no idea who she was, also noticed it. I made the decision to leave the place while I was texting my husband about it. I discussed it with my husband that evening. He attempted to rationalize it, saying that, while it was strange, perhaps he picked the coffee shop because it felt comfortable. And he added, maybe the girlfriend was staring so much because she wanted to have kids herself. Anyhow, I made the decision to wait until they permanently left the coffee shop before going back. They had it rented for a full week. I didn't want to ask his mother to evict them, even though he claimed he could, as it wouldn't be equitable to her business. She attempted to reach my husband that evening via the coffee shop's Instagram account, inquiring as to whether he was certain our son was truly his. She sent exactly one text message. Are you certain you own that baby? At 2 or 3 in the morning, the text was sent. She wrote a little later. He doesn't resemble you at all, so it appears that this woman went into a tailspin and began believing that my husband and my son were her boyfriends. She explained that although our baby has light, curly hair, he has dark, straight hair. My hair is light and curly by nature. He's also my baby. The next day, my cell phone woke us up with a message that my husband was not able to access the shop's account. Because I never cheated on him, my spouse is 100% certain that I never did. Let's face it, our son was conceived outside of the nation. We all went with my husband when he was deployed for a few months for work. This is absurd. She said she now knew why the former friend came to our city by herself 3 years ago. In addition, I received a text from a friend of mine that seemed to be accusing me of something, asking if I had told his girlfriend anything, saying that I'm guilty. Tell her what exactly? I handed my husband my phone at this point so he could handle them. She also started sending me nasty voicemails and texts, calling me horrible names. My spouse believed it would be wiser to retain the messages in case we needed to call the police, but I just wanted to block them both. However, in response to her initial message, my spouse informed her that he is positive our son is his and advised her to take her fears somewhere else. He replied that we don't need to do a paternity test when she inquired about it. Now, if we have nothing to fear, she's insisting that we get a paternity test done. There are fewer texts coming to me directly from her address. We're afraid this woman might do something because she seems insane, so I'm staying locked in the house with the kids. They were obviously not permitted to return to the coffee shop. Because she is extremely irate and doesn't want any more issues, my email also returned their money. This is extremely embarrassing as well. I cry all the time. Given that they are unaware of our residence, I don't feel like I'm in physical danger, but I can't stop crying because I'm so furious. I'm aware that the stress is bad for the unborn child I'm carrying. My husband took the call this morning since my former friend was still at home. He claimed that his girlfriend doesn't trust him at all, and that she has practically begged me to take a paternity test so she can stop worrying. They've both already been blocked by me. She's now offending me on Instagram by using different accounts to comment on the coffee shop photo, saying things like, "Our baby isn't a fair baby," and "I should be ashamed." I'm not even trying to explain things to her at this point. I only want her to give up. Remarks. Base 280 is underscored by adventurous. You should issue a restraining order against her because she sounds insane. You have to look after yourself and your family because she isn't going to stop. If she doesn't receive the desired attention response, you don't want her to get more aggressive. OLP. So this evening, my Sal paid us a visit. This afternoon, the girlfriend appeared at the coffee shop. She was by herself. She was searching for me, calm as ever, claimed that, whatever that means, all she wants to know is my version of what happened. She is positive that our little boy is the son of her boyfriend. I feel like throwing up after all of this. She was told she was no longer welcome there and was escorted out. Tomorrow, Sal has an appointment with her lawyer, and my husband will also have a meeting with one. Our parents will assist us with the costs, relieving us of the burden of worrying about money and our impending child. They're all worried and scared. After perusing a few of your remarks, we chose to open them up. If they try to get in touch with us, we just won't engage. For now, they will continue to be blocked on the shop page. After work, my spouse will review my messages to see if there are any new ones. I have turned off my notifications. I'm doing this to help me stay calm. Thus far, my pregnancy has been extremely healthy, and we intend to maintain it that way. We appreciate your comments and find them to be helpful. Elec Fuzzy. If she is searching for your version of events, this sounds a lot like he gave her a different account of what transpired. I think he told her something and instilled this idea in her. Deserving a pledge 675. I wonder if the friend exaggerated your relationship too much to cause the GF to react so strongly. If so, either way, the excessive reaction indicates that the GF is seriously mentally ill, or the friend lied. For a cease and desist, I would advise getting in touch with an attorney. For harassment, I would suggest calling the police. The former friend is quite bold to request a paternity test. How dare he make this mess? This comment, LLP, is not the first implying that the former friend misled his girlfriend. I'm just not sure what kind of deception could have made her go so insane. Why would he lie then? My spouse thinks she blew up in her insecurities because she is jealous and knows about the crush. It defies logic on my part. It's simply so chaotic. Tomorrow, my spouse will speak with a lawyer to see what options are available. Even though they were only going to be in the city for a week, that was a long time given the situation. As Seattle's attorney informed us in the update 2 days later, things went south rather quickly. 2 cease and desist letters were sent to them, one from us and one under the IELTS business. Sal's attorney wrote these and delivered them yesterday on the same day as an urgent matter. As I mentioned in the comment section of my previous post, I knew they were staying with one of our friends. A lawyer and my spouse had a meeting today. He'll take up our case and support us. In addition, he told my husband to prepare for what might come, and that the girlfriend might become even crazier if she finds out we're suing them. My husband was a little afraid that she might try to hurt me or our son up until this point. But he didn't think she was capable of hurting us physically until now. We first discussed me and the kids being locked up at home until they returned to their hometown. But ultimately, we agreed to maintain our routines with a few minor adjustments, primarily because we don't think our kids should have to bear the consequences of this woman's behavior. Tuesday went well, very calmly. But today, the girlfriend came across my path as I was leaving the garage to take our daughter to her dance lesson. I didn't see her, and I almost ran over her. She was saying, "Stop, stop, stop, stop," without actually screaming. I apologize for my children for screaming, but I had no choice. What the hell was she doing there? I thought as I froze. How in the world did she find out our address? Our young child said, "Yeah, whatever." Our daughter, though, was afraid. The girlfriend moved to my side of the car, and I believe she wanted to talk, But Mona was on the radio, so I wasn't really listening to her. My daughter was in tears. I drove in reverse to get out of there, even though my son was starting to freak out. Though there were a lot of things I could have done at the time, I just wanted to flee because everything was so chaotic. When we were far from the house, I called the police and returned a short while later. I was trembling. Then, in order to divert our daughter, I called my husband and we went to the remaining classes. She found success with it, but I did not. Jesus Christ, we were surrounded by people and safe, at least in the studio. I asked our mutual friends if they'd given our address to her or him, but nobody can swear with a clear conscience that they hadn't. I accept them. My spouse and I were invited to the reunion that took place yesterday, but we declined because we wanted to catch up with the former friend and his girlfriend. Our mutual friends told me the atmosphere was strange to say the least, and she never showed up. They said that the old friend had inquired as to my attendance, didn't inquire about my spouse, and continued to subtly bring me up all night. All he wanted to discuss was this mess, asked if I was crazy, and ventured to suggest that if I passed the test, things might return to normal. He insulted my husband after that, saying he was in control of me. Friends have now stated that while it's possible they misinterpreted, they believe he implied that my son might be his. I feel like puking. They told him he was being lame and shut him down because he was annoying everyone. Or so the saying goes. That's the actual event. Therefore, the reunion ended sooner than planned. It was not us. However, I'm furious. My husband is furious and threatens to beat the living daylights out of him if he sees him. Right now, I'm so concerned about our son. According to a female friend of mine, the girlfriend texted her to inquire if the old friend had truly attended the reunion with them. The friend declined to provide any proof. I now realize that it happened around the same time she insulted me and told my husband she was positive her boyfriend was hitting on me via social media messages. I can't take this much disrespect in my face. To be clear, I was curled up on the couch like a couch potato, watching TV with my husband while still in my pajamas. So it's her fault. My spouse found it difficult to remain silent, but we are doing as the lawyer has instructed. We intend to file a defamation lawsuit against her. It is very simple to demonstrate that our son was conceived while we were traveling. However, we will only perform the paternity test if ordered by the court or if it aids in the resolution. Our best chance of getting a PO, we'll try again to get one tomorrow on Tuesday, and our lawyer says we will definitely get it as an emergency resource after the girlfriend showed up at our house and we filed the police report. She's also not allowed to go to the coffee shop legally. My uncle's house is where we're spending the night. My friends don't even know where she lives, much less that we're here. The children are doing fine. Though they appear content, they are aware that something is happening. After her dance classes, our daughter was back to her usual self. She is thrilled to be spending the night with her cousin. Our son was upset because he was homesick. Yes, buddy, that doesn't add up. It's the same bed that makes it so difficult to put him to sleep. Tonight, he gets to sleep with mom and dad, but I don't think I'll be able to get any rest. To be prepared in case she, he, or both appear, my husband is currently installing a Ring camera at our house. He's not alone because his father is supporting him, but when he returns to us, I will feel more at ease. I'm staying here with our son tomorrow, we decided. It's not an issue for me because I work from home. Our daughter will be picked up and dropped off at school by my spouse. Even though I'm not scared anymore, I still am. Mostly, I'm furious with both of them. However, I'm keeping my cool for my child. To calm my thoughts, I'm just concentrating on the fact that we are safe right now. When my spouse returns to us, I will be at peace with myself now. I just want to cry and spend time with my partner and our children. I keep hearing from Sal, Mill, and my mother that it's like a stress release and that my hormones are making it much worse. It's Wednesday. We assume that they will depart this weekend, even though they are scheduled to depart on Friday or Saturday. It will be so much relief to have them away from us. I want this to be over with. Remarks. Base 280 is underscored by adventurous. I could tell when I read your first post that she would only get worse. You must exercise extreme caution. She clearly has mental health problems, and a restraining order might be necessary to protect her. It's not that you can't obtain one. You must keep treating this with seriousness. It hurts to have to stop living your life because of something that isn't your fault. but you might have to do it to keep your family and yourself safe. Yes, my husband was informed by the 2 attorneys of that. We are staying at Sal's house for that reason. Moreover, I'm not currently going out with our son. My spouse set his schedule to enable him to be the one to drop off and pick up our daughter from school, as she is the only one who leaves the house for that reason. The principal and teachers are aware of the situation, and the school is safe. She stays locked up with me at a safe house, though, if we detect anything. I won't be leaving our children alone. I'll be with Sal or Michelle until my husband gets back from work, and he'll make an effort to depart early. Yes, it's awful, but if it means we're safe, I'd rather have this, and I'm grateful Sal is providing us with a place to stay. Luna, Vixen 15. Take pictures of them and bring them to the school if you haven't already, and let them know that they are not allowed to have any contact with the children or knowledge of them. In the unlikely event that they take action, the school's administrators ought to have at least a basic understanding of the circumstances. OP, I appreciate the guidance. Nothing is currently excessive given the situation. They would never allow her to leave with someone who isn't on file, I'm sure of it. Every year at the start of the school year, whoever is able to pick her up must have the information and a photo provided. Her grandparents are here with us. Occasionally, though, one of her grandparents will come get her. Michelle was supposed to pick her up one time, but she was currently unable to do so, so Phil did it in her place. Not a huge concern. The office called me because, although he was in the system and his ID matched their files, they had never seen him in person, so it was strange for them. To make sure Phil was scheduled to pick her up, they called me. He informed us that when they called her, they inquired nonchalantly about his identity to get confirmation. After that, Phil declared he would never pick her up again. I genuinely hoped they would never, ever allow her to go with an unknown person. I told them that we were being stalked and harassed by someone who might be pursuing our son. My spouse and I are the only ones left in the file now that the grandparents were removed. We are somewhat relieved that their playground is in the center of the school and that there is no view to or from the street. Nikolai, I work as a school secretary, yes. In any case, we wouldn't call a child down for someone who wasn't on file. However, when they were yelling at me for not allowing their child to wait for them in the front office, these are the exact kinds of situations that I wish people understood. You never know what kinds of circumstances arise in people's lives and end up on screen. Make sure their names and photos are on file at school, please. They can keep them out of the building completely and notify the police and you if they have a heads up. LLP, I've been there. They have the names and pictures, and to cut a long story short, they have actually chosen to take her grandparents off the list of people who are authorized to pick her up. They are alert because, I suppose, I also warned them about the situation. Not that girl from the valley. That is very scary. All of a sudden, I would become enamored with baseball and purchase a nice bat, ball, and glove, which I would carry with me everywhere. The ball in the backpack and the glove. The bat, too. Remember to bring the bat. Without it, baseball cannot be played. Oh my God, my husband bought me a pepper spray. I tell him that I'm a baseball fan now. Story 2, I-57, M. I was married to my wife for nearly 25 years, and we got divorced 4 years ago when I discovered she had an affair. She spent nearly 5 years in an affair. She is currently with her lover. I was deeply hurt by the entire process because I did everything in my life with my wife and children in mind. And to learn that now regarding my spouse, I was just hurt by it. The affair had been known to my 2 children, 29F and 26M, for years, but they had kept it a secret from me. They didn't want to split up their family, so I don't blame them for feeling terrible about it. Even though my daughter apologized repeatedly and sobbed a lot, I reassured her that everything would be okay. I told them to let go of the guilt because they were adults now, and I didn't want this to consume them. I have, however, felt a great deal less love for them ever since I discovered that they had concealed the affair from me. I couldn't emotionally connect them to it all, but I wasn't going to exclude them from my will, inheritance, or anything like that. I am also very close to my niece, 30F, and nephew, 2008AM, especially since their father died when they were very young. Since my sister lost her husband when she was very young, I took on a fatherly role for them during their early years. I have also been eager to spend more time with them over the past 4 years. My niece and nephew have invited me over to celebrate their children's birthdays, and they both have kids. Additionally, they invited me to their birthday celebrations on Father's Day and other holidays. We are a close-knit, multi-generational family overall, and I am proud to be their grandpa. Our relationship is already growing. But in the process, I have also become completely disinterested in communicating with my own kids. While my son is expecting his first child, my daughter is a mother to 2 children. I've declined their numerous invitations to come over because I'm busy. I don't often visit, if at all, and I've missed nearly all of their kids' milestones. Financially speaking, I'm not really interested in being their grandpa. Even though I've been giving them gifts, I simply don't feel like seeing them. At times, my daughter in particular seems to be deeply offended by it, but I hope she comprehends why. Aita. Aita lacks consensus. The bot didn't make any pertinent comments. Can the bot forgive his children and move on? OP. I'm not really seeking to exact revenge on my own kids. I simply can't relate to them on an emotional level. This is about me, not about them. I get so happy when I visit my nieces and nephews and spend time with them and their kids. I can't speak for my own kids in the same way. I have no emotions. Yes, this is hurting my kids a lot, especially my daughter. They are aware that I enjoy spending time with their kids and at their cousins, but in the 20 to 30 years I have left, I want to give myself and my mental health top priority. About including his niece and nephew in his will. Oh, I see. My nephew and niece were included in the will already. I divide it equally between my son, daughter, niece, and nephew because I think of them as my own children as well. Read the update on August 31st, 2024, 9 hours later on the same day. I appreciate all of your advice. The main takeaway from the comments was that my kids should not have to live in a state of uncertainty for years on end. They should be given the opportunity to learn the truth. And that's what I just did. I just got off a video call with my daughter and my son. It was a very emotional and difficult call, but I got everything out of my system. I told them that while I had forgiven them, I could never forget it, and that for my mental health, it was better. We limit our interactions. I told them to not feel guilty about anything, but that also, after dedicating more than half my life to my wife and children, it was time I put myself first. I told them my heart wasn't in it to be a grandparent to their children. I was also honest with them and told them my heart was only it for my nephews and nieces' kids, and whenever I did go to their house, I felt joy while with my own children. I felt nothing. My children probably already knew it, but I wanted them to hear it from me directly. It was really hard to get it off my chest and say it directly to my children's faces. I told them they were still welcome to come to my house anytime and call me anytime. They needed help. Both my children took the call really hard, but I think my daughter took it worst. Those were really ugly tears, and I felt really bad about it. But I do feel a sense of relief. And I have pretty much told all of my feelings to my children and did not keep anything secret. I can now move forward with my life, and so can my children. Commenter. But wait. Did they just accept it or begged for a chance? Also, did your kids' relationship with their mother suffered a lot? They did not beg, but they did cry and apologize profusely, and they requested that I think again. I assured them I would, but I would prefer to restrict our interactions for the time being. Yes, there has been a lot of strain in their relationship with their mother. Commenter. It's a depressing situation overall. If OP the commenter hasn't already, he should definitely speak with a licensed therapist about all of this.